Okay, good evening. You're on to the mathematics multiverse, and this is another exciting time with me doing what I know how to do best. You will need to pardon me this evening. My voice appears to be a little husky. I don't know, maybe because of the talking I had to do today. But thank God for the grace of life, and we are here to do what we know how to do best, which is mathematics. Okay, so today we'll be looking at formal geometry, and this is what I call the Midnight Sun Project. Midnight Sun Project. I said that the Midnight Sun Project will run every day starting from today. Today will be more like a teaser to things to come. It wouldn't be a very long class, but it's a teaser for greater things to come. We'll try to give the project a structure. We're planning to cover grade 9, grade 12. So we'd expect that students in grade 7 and grade 8 could join the grade 9 class, and students in grade 10 and grade 11 could join the grade 12 class. We'll try as much as possible to soften the tone of the explanation so that anybody will be able to join the class and be able to do well in its flow. All right, we're also working on a project that will also handle upper primary, primary 4, primary 5, primary 6, but we've not yet agreed on the time this class will start. So we're still doing some research on that to see what will be the best time to have this class. But for now, I can tell you it's official that our Midnight project has started. Okay, now added to this information, we're going to be having a timetable that will clearly detail what each class will be like each day. Like Tuesday, what class we're going to have, Wednesday, what class we're going to have, Thursday, what class we're going to have, Friday, as case may be. So it's open to all, and we trust that people will join in and enjoy the mathematics experience. So without much ado, let's go into formal geometry, the first in the installment of the Midnight Sun Project. All right, so we will be solving today. We'll be solving from 2021 NECO, 2021 NECO. That would be theory. Question number 7A. So we'll try to draw the diagram. Try to draw the diagram, and it look more like this. Like this. Like this. Like this. This will be parallel to this. Whenever you see that, it will mean that there's another line that's parallel somewhere. This is X. This is 47. This is more like this. This is B. This is C. The whole of this angle here is 83 degrees. And this is D. I hope I've gotten every detail here. This will be A. All right, so this is a diagram we're going to have. And we are told to find X. We're told to find this angle. So how do we solve this question? I'll just give a minute or two to look at the question and see if you can figure out a way out. All right, so I think that's enough time for you to figure out what's happening. So let's try to solve. Now, Remember that because this line is parallel to this line is parallel to this, so we can say that AB is parallel to what? DC. We can also say that I can choose to call this, let's say I call this E. I'm choosing to call that C. So I would have said using notations as in diagram. Using notations as in diagram, if this is 45, I can call here A. And remember that in treating this work, I can call here Y. So I'm going to call here A, I'm going to call here Y. So from the diagram, you discover that A will be equal to 47 degrees. A is equal to 47 degrees. Why is that? AB is parallel to, sorry, we'll say what? Alternate angles. AB parallel to what? DC. AB is parallel to DC, right? Then the next thing we're going to do is to try to figure out what is Y. We will discover that Y is equal to X. What's the reason for that? Y is equal to X is simply what? Alternate angles. AC parallel to what? ED. Now, with these two settled, I can say that what? 83 plus A plus Y will be equal to what? 180 degrees. What's the reason? Angle sum of, angle on a straight line. Angles on a straight line. Angles on a straight line. And if that is understood, it means that wherever I see Y, I can put what there? X. So to be 83 plus A plus X equal to 180 degrees. What is A? A is 47. So I can say 83 plus 47 plus X will be equal to 180 degrees. So in solving this, we can first finish this by saying that what? Add these two together, I'm going to get 130, if I got that right, plus X equal to what? 180 degrees. So what is X? X will now be equal to 180 minus 130. And that will mean that X will be equal to 50 degrees. So the answer will be X equal to what? 50 degrees. So I'll give us some time to process that, and then we will continue. Right, so I'll give us some time to process that, and give us some time to process that, and we can now proceed. Okay, so I'll clean off, and we go to another question. We clean this off and we go to another question. Remember, we're told to find X. Now, please feel very free. It's possible that sometimes when we solve this question, there might be an error. So feel very free at every point in time to critique the question, and right, so just trying to set up a few things. Okay, so we'll go into our next question. Just trying to get all right, so we'll look at, with that solved, we will go to the next one. So we look at the next year, and that will be November, and that will be WAEC, November 2002. That is OBJ, that will be OBJ, and we would, because we're trying to solve from the question paper, we'll try to look at what year, because the whole idea is to solve questions relating to formal geometry. And the first question I'm seeing here relating to that is question 29. If you look at question 29, 29, it says, we have a diagram like this. This is the horizontal line. And I have three lines like this. This is 56 degrees. This is X, and this is 3X. And I think this line runs like this too. So this is Y. So this is S. This is T. This is P. This is Q. And this is R. So we'll just give ourselves a little time to draw the diagram. Give ourselves a little time to draw the diagram, and then we'll see how we would handle that. Give ourselves a little time to draw the diagram. So give ourselves a little time to handle that, and we'll see how that can be done. Right. Okay, so I will trust that will be enough time to have copied that. So we'll try to solve. The question says, in the diagram above, PR and QS are straight lines. So which means that the lines are actually what? Intersecting. And we are told to find the value of Y. This is what we're told to find, Y. Now, if you look at this diagram very well, there are two connecting ideas we see. If this is a straight line, we all agree this is a straight line, we can say that 3x plus x plus 56 will be equal to 180 degrees. What's the reason for that? The reason will be what? Angles on a straight line. Angles on a straight line. And if we agree with that logic, it will mean that what? 3x plus x will be 4x plus 56 equal to 180 degrees. So what do we do? This is a king, we need to make it a slave. So 4x will now be equal to 180 minus 56. So what's the next thing we'll do? It means 4x will be equal to, that should be 124, if I'm right with that. And if I divide both sides by 4, I'm going to get that x will be equal to what? 31 degrees. Remember I said in previous classes that when getting your answers, just wait till the end of the day before you put in your value. All right, but remember that your objective is to look for Y. If you look at this straight line PR, so straight line PR, we're told that in the diagram already. So if we look at a straight line PR, it will mean that what? If you look at straight line PR, it will mean that what? 3x plus Y will be equal to 180 degrees. And what's the reason for that? Angles on a straight line, angles on a straight line. Now, there's also another way to do this. If you look at this carefully too, you discover that the whole of this Y will be equal to what? X plus 56. That's yet another way to go. X plus 56 will give me that angle. So what is X? X is 39. So X3 times 31 plus Y will be equal to 180. Now 3 times this will give me 90 what? 93 plus Y equal to 180. Y is equal to 180 minus 93. and y will be equal to 87 degrees if I'm right. If I've done that correctly, y will be equal to 87 degrees. Now, this is one very interesting aspect of maths. In this aspect of maths, any answer can be correct. There's no hard and fast rule that any method you use can be treated as correct, because there is no rule that says that you must use a particular method to solve. There's no rule telling you that. It's not compulsory that you must use a particular method to solve. So it's very important that when you're handling geometry, you try as much as possible to test different methods. If I were to test another method, you discover that if x is equal to 31, now this angle here is actually vertically opposite to what? This angle. So I can say x plus 56 will give me y. What's the reason? Vertically opposite angles. And if I add 31 to 56, I'm going to get 87. So that's a check to tell you that the answer or what you have done is actually what? Correct. All right. So if that is understood, I'll give you a minute or two to digest that, and then we'll go to another question. Like I said, the class is going to be a very short one because we're just trying to tease the synopsis for this. But trusting from tomorrow, we have a very definite timetable which we're going to post on our different social media platforms so that you will know the exact time the class will start, the duration, and more importantly, the class grade we're going to be considering for the day. All right. Okay, so if that is understood, just a quick reminder here that the class is recorded. So for some of us who are just joining us now, thanks for joining. Thanks. Let's just say a big thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. One of the complaints made is that I should try as much as possible to make the class as slow as possible, and I'm going to try as much as possible to make the class as slow as possible. Possibly tomorrow, I'll also create the Zoom link so that those of us who want to join on Zoom can actually have the teacher to student direct kind of flow in the class. All right, so we're done with that. That was question 29. So we're going to question 33 now. Question 33 is still on formal geometry. And this is the diagram we have. We have this. We have this. We have M here, small letter M. We have 3R here. We have another cutout here called R. We have 64 here. And this is O. This O means the origin. The O means what? The origin. So this is Y. This is P. This is X. This is T, and this is Q. All right, so I'm going to give you a minute or two to draw the diagram, and then we'll start. All right. Okay, so let's look at that. So we're going to start the solving now. And it says in the diagram, X, Y, and PQ intersect at O. X, Y, and PQ intersect at what? O. Now, angle TOQ. And this O is the center. TOQ is what? 64 degrees. Now we're told to find M. We're told to look for this M. Now, how do we look for M? It's quite a tricky one, but we can get it. Now, to get M, look at PQ. Look at PQ. If you look at PQ, we can say, I'm going to say from line PQ. You don't really need to write this in the exam. I'm just trying to draw your attention to what I want you to see. From line PQ, we would see that 3R plus R plus 64 will be equal to 180 degrees. What's the reason for that? It's simply what? Angles on a straight line. Now, please, I'm writing like this because I don't have enough space this way. The standard practice is to write the reason at this part. Do you understand? So this will now be what? 4r plus 64 equal to 180 degrees. So what would that be? 4r will be equal to 180. This is a king. He has to become a slave minus 64. So 4r will now be equal to what? 116. I got that right. I got that right. Now, your ability to spot a flaw in my calculation shows that you understand what we're doing. So I usually don't feel too bad when students spot my flaws because it shows that they are understanding. Right, so this will now be 4r. This will be r equal to 116 divided by 4. And if I got that right, that should be 20 what? 29. Let's confirm if what I've done is correct. So that'll be 29 degrees. But remember that the objective was to look for what? M. So we can say that also 3r. Now let's look at line x, y. Line from line xy, from line xy, that will be what? 3r plus m equal to 180 degrees. And what's the reason again? Angles on a straight line. Angles on a straight line. Is that okay? Angles on a straight line will give you that. And remember that we have said that r is what? 29 degrees. Oh, we're spot on there. So that will be 3 multiplying 29 plus m equal to 180 degrees. 3 multiplying 29 plus what? M equal to 180 degrees. So what that will mean will be, if I multiply 3 with 29, what does that give me? That will give me something like, would that be an 87? Confirm for me, 87. You're allowed to use your calculator. So that will be 87 plus m equal to 180. And m will simply be what? This is a king who has to become a slave because anytime he crosses from this kingdom to the next, he assumes the title of a slave. So that will be 180 minus 87. And if I've done my work well, that will give me 93 degrees. So the answer there will be what? 93 degrees. Okay, I hope did you get that? 93 degrees. Yeah, spot on. So we have that answer there. I'll give you a minute or two to calm down, process what we have done, and then we'll pick another question. Okay, I trust that will be enough time for us to process that. So I would, I'm going to take one more. I'm going to take another question. Would that be from the same year? No. Let's take something else. Let's take something else. I'll be looking at. Let's look at. If you watch carefully, one of the reasons why I'm taking old questions is to just help you see that irrespective of the year you're considering, the pattern still remains the same. So let's see, this is another question paper I'm having here. And I'm going to be looking at question 9 of WAEC 2003. This was a June exam. Still OBJ, but this is question number 9. And we're going to try to draw the diagram on the board. What an interesting one. I'm going to start from here. I'm going to draw something like this. Then it becomes like this. This is parallel to this. This is connecting at this point. This is S. This is R. This is equal to this. This angle here is 70 degrees. What else am I seeing? Right. This is coming like this. And this is M, and the whole of this angle, and this point is called Q. It's not the angle that is Q. Maybe I should put it inside. This is Q. This is P. I'm told that this angle is what? 55 degrees. All right, so that's the diagram we have on the board. And then we're going to try to solve this question. It says in the diagram, PQ is parallel to ROT. So there's a T here. And ROS is equal to what? QS. All right. Angle QST is equal to 70 degrees. And angle PQM. Was that M or a W? Sorry, that's a W. Angle PQW is equal to what? 55 degrees. Now we are told to find the size of the reflex angle. So I'll just write that down. Find the size of reflex angle. I just extend that reflex angle WQS. So I'm told to find the reflex angle WQX. Now, the reflex angle will be this angle here. So by way of using notation as a diagram, I'm going to call this X. So I'll start my diagram. I will say one using notations. Sorry for masking my screen. Using notations as in diagram. Using notations as in diagram. Now, I've called here X, this angle X, small letter X. Now, from my diagram, to get this angle, I'll need to get this and this. So I'm going to call this angle, I'm going to call this little angle, what do I call that now? I'm going to call this little angle Y. I'm going to call this little angle Z. I'm going to call this little angle W. So these are the angles. To get this angle, I need to get this, this, and this. If I add these three and remove from 360, I'll be able to get this angle. So let's look at this diagram very well. From this diagram, you will discover that triangle ROXS is isos. Isos means that isosceles triangle. Look at it. ROQ, sorry about that. ROQS is what? Isos. ROQS isos. So what does that mean? It will mean that W is equal to Z, which will be what? The base angles of isos triangle what? ROQS. So these two angles are equal. So what else can I do? If you remember when we treated formal geometry previously, we said that W plus Z will be equal to what? 70 degrees. What's the reason for that? The opposite interior angles will give you the what? Exterior angle. So we'll say that what? This is what? Exterior angles, right? So if that is understood, and I know that W is equal to Z, what I need is Z. I can say that what? Z, where I have W, I can put Z there, plus Z or Z will equal to 70. So 2Z will be equal to 70. And what I need to do is to divide both sides by 2. And what does that give me? That will give me what? Z equal to what? 35 degrees. Okay, so that will be 35 degrees. Now, with that sorted out, you also agree with me that W is equal to Y. W is equal to Y. Why? This angle is equal to this angle. What's the reason for that? This line is parallel to this line. So we say that what? By reason of what? Alternate angles, what? PQ parallel to what? SROS, or you can say ROT. Whether I say ROS or ROT, you mean the same thing. So PQ, rather, Y is equal to W. So with that said, hence I know that W is equal to Z. I can say that what? W is equal to Z is equal to 35 and is equal to Y. So I can safely say that Y is equal to 35 degrees. Now, how do I get X? X plus Z in the clockwise direction plus Y. x plus z plus y plus 55 will be equal to x plus z plus y plus 55 will be equal to 360 degrees. And why is that so? It is angle at a point. If I sum up all the angles at this point of Q, it will be equal to what? 360 degrees. So that will mean that angles at a point, I can just say Q, just to tell my students that the angles I'm considering is at what? Q. Is that okay? So with that said, I'm X is what I'm looking for. So X plus, what is Z? 35. What is Y? 35. What is that 55? Equal to 360 degrees. So let's move it this way and clear it out. Let's move it this way to clear it out. So 35 plus 35 will give me 70. 70 plus 55 will give me 125. So X plus 125 will be equal to 360 degrees. So remember what I told the reflex angle. The reflex angle is any angle that is greater than what? 180 degrees. Is that not? Or less than 360 degrees. So from here, we can say that X will be equal to 360 minus 125 degrees. So that will give me what? 235 degrees if I have done my mathematics correctly. And I think I did that. And that will be the answer to that question. Right, so we'll give ourselves a minute or two to cool down and then we continue. All right, so if we're done with that, I'm going to clean the board and we'll take the last question for the evening, which will be question 16 on that same question paper. Okay. We're going to take that as the last question. We're going to take the last question for the night. So I'm going to try to draw the question. I just want to ensure that we're through with copy. So I will then clean the board. I'll try to draw the diagram for the question, and then we'll close out. Right, like I said, today's class is more of an introduction to what we'll be doing. So I wouldn't be keeping us too long on it. Right, so on that same year, we'll be looking at question number 16. I hope that will be the last question of that same. Okay, I still have 2 more questions to go. Sorry about that. So question 16. Now, this is a diagram we have in question 16. More like this. 3x plus 14. This is 2x. And this is 2x minus 21. All right. All in degrees. All in degrees. So this is in degrees. This is in degrees. And this is in degrees. All right, so that's what we'll be dealing with now. Let's see how that plays out. So this is a diagram we're giving, and the key information to remember is that this is Z, this is P, this is Y, and this is M. So we're told that ZM is a straight line. So by that information, we know that ZM being a straight line will mean that the angle formed at this point will be what? 180 degrees. And I think this one is very straightforward. Now, let's look at the triangle ZYP. From the triangle, it will be implied that if I add these 2 angles together, I'm going to get this. Opposite interior angles will give me the exterior angle. Look at this. If we're able to turn, this diagram will look more like, if I'm able to turn it around, if you look at this triangle, these two angles will see this exterior angle here. You get that? So that will mean that what? 2x plus 2x minus 21 will be equal to 3x plus 14. All right, so we're going to add this together. This will give me 2x plus 2x minus 21. Just did that to ensure that we remember that the positive does nothing to the brackets. And that will be equal to 3x plus 14. All right, so this will be 4x minus 21 equal to 3x plus 14. Now, this is a king coming this way becomes a servant equal to this one is a chief residing here and the servant is about to be made a king here. All right, or a prodigal son is about to be crowned king. So this will be what? X equal to 35. 14 plus 21 will give you what? 35 degrees. Now we're told to find X, and then if I've done that correctly, my answer should be what? 35 degrees, and I think that is taken care of. A minute or two to catch our breath, and then we'll proceed. So we'll be having the last question for the night. The whole thing behind this initiative is not just about covering enough questions, but we're able to solve maybe it's 4, 5, or 6 questions. We want to ensure that for those of us who are preparing for WAEC examination, you're able to understand what's happening, or for those of you already studying this in class, you can see and relate what you're doing in class with what you're seeing right now. Right, so that's for question 16. And the last one will be question 23. Let's just draw that while you try to wrap up. So it's more like this. Hope I'm getting that right. Okay. I got that right. 3y 136 degrees and 5y. All in degrees. Right, all in degrees. And so we're going to try to solve this. This is always the most tricky aspect of this topic, because sometimes students find it difficult to understand what to do. Now, this line is parallel to this line. This line is parallel to this line, and we are told to find y. Said in the diagram, find what? Y. This line is parallel to this line. So how do you handle a problem like this? You need to introduce another parallel line. You introduce another parallel line such that by exploring the qualities of corresponding angles, this angle here, I'm going to call this angle A. This angle here will be 5y, corresponding angles. And this angle here will be what? 3y. This angle is equal to this angle, so they are corresponding angles because I introduce another parallel line that will make this angle equal to this angle. So what's the next thing we'll do? By my diagram now, it's obvious now that I've been able to establish that if I add these two angles together, I'm going to get this angle here. So 5y rather, plus 3y will be equal to what? 136 degrees. There's no reason for this. It's clear deductions. I've made this parallel to this line, parallel to this, parallel to this. So this angle here will be equal to this angle, and this angle here will be equal to this angle. So this becomes what? 8y equal to 136 degrees. So how do we do this? I'll divide both sides by 8, and it would mean that y will be equal to what? 8 divide this, I'm going to get 1. Left with a 5, so that will be 56. That will be 17 degrees. The question says we should look for what? Y. And as such, that answer will be what? 17 degrees. All right, so that's the size, that's the question from this one. And with that, we are done with our class for today. The whole idea of this class is a class that does not extend more than 9 o'clock. So one of the things we're going to try to do is ensure that the class starts 8 o'clock. We'll start a little late today and then we'll close by 9 so that you can prepare yourself for the class and finish on time and you move. So for more details, you can reach me on this number on WhatsApp. You can check me out on WhatsApp 006-485-7933 on WhatsApp. One of the things we want to try to do through this class is able to solve questions. So you can actually decide questions I would handle. If you do me a WhatsApp chat and I'm able to see the questions you're recommending, if they all fall into a particular topic, that could form the basis of the class I would handle, because the whole idea of this initiative is to be able to solve questions that are very important to students. I also am building a Telegram page. So when you chat me privately, I will add you up to the Telegram page so that you can also join up and follow up with questions that will be solved from time to time. So thank you very much for being a part of the first day on Midnight Sun. Midnight Sun will continue tomorrow, and we're trusting that from tomorrow we're going to have a definite timetable for the work. Thank you. Mamu with Jarvis will return. See you.